Okay, another Excel round today. This is probably my most disappointing one. I've had two really bad rounds in a row now. This one came up, I watched the video in advance, and it's basically, we have a bunch of items that are always denoted by two letters, and I have a lot of lambdas to split these out and count them and so on. So I thought this would be quite easy, but I made a critical mistake. So when you have two of these codes together, so let's take these ones, WB, BE, so this would represent a Western burger and a beer. So I have a lambda that says count occurrences of this in a text string, and it will tell me how many there are. So this is going to count the Western burger and the beer, but it also counts a bacon burger when there is no bacon burger here. So I should have actually used another lambda I have which splits things into groups, so I can split that into twos, and it only spills out the ones I want. So that was a huge error. Basically the examples worked up to question 4, and I just sat there at question 4, couldn't get the numbers right. And really disappointing because I feel like I'm better than my scores reflect at the moment. But anyway, let's show you how to solve this one. So first of all, I'm just going to set this table up a bit more neatly. So I'm going to say 2 row of these, and then I'm going to do my split text of this with 2 properly this time, and then I'm going to say let A be that and filter A where A equals this, and let's just do some locking here, and what we will get is a spill down of all the occurrences there. So I just want to count the rows, and that will tell me how many there are, and if it's an error it will be 0. So let's do rows, and if error is going to be a 0. So that will give me the amount of everything. I'm just going to pull the price quickly as well, so XLOOKUP all of those in here and give me the price. I'm also going to look up what it is, whether it's an entree, side or a drink. So there's XLOOKUP that in here again and give me what it is. And there's also a discount element to this. So if you buy 1 drink, 1 side and 1 entree, you get a discount of $2. If you buy 2 of each, you get a discount of $4 and so on. So we can figure out that discount by saying group by this, and we'll lock that, and we'll take the amounts, which need to put those in 2 col actually, so they spill down properly. And what you'll see here is whatever the minimum value is, that's going to be our discount. So we're going to get a discount of 2 because we've got 1 side, everything else above that. So if we just take the min of that, min will ignore letters, so that will give us the minimum number, and then I can times that by 2 to get the discount. So let's say discount, and then our price is just going to be the sum product of this. We can lock that and take this, and then we can minus off our discounts. I've got that in the wrong cell, so let's just pull that down here. And let's actually start answering some questions now we've done the setup. So what's the maximum number of orders placed in a single day? So I can just use my most of lambdas here on the date, and we can see it's 332. What's the total revenue? It's just the sum of this. What's the maximum orders containing at least 1 combo meal? So let's do equals minus minus this is greater than 0. And what did the question ask again? What's the maximum number of orders containing at least compared in a single day? So that's just another group by the date, whether there's at least 1 combo meal, sum, and we can see it's 136. How much discount? It's just the sum of the discounts column. On average, how many entrees are ordered in each order? So we can just say sum if this says entree, and I did something wrong there, included the discount. Let's not do that. We can see the average down here is 3.12, but they just want it as a whole number, so it's 3. And that's the bonuses done. now let's do this. So what was the last order placed for the given day? That's just a max ifs of the order number where the day is the given day. How many units are present in the order? So let's just XLOOKUP this in here, give me code, and I can just do kind of like an index match on the order number and this to get the amount of how many are present. So I have a lambda for that, TLOOKUP. I just put my table in and then pick my row, which is order number, pick my column, which is that. Okay, question 3, what is the sum of the meal including discounts? So that's just sum ifs meal price if order number says this. How much was earned on a day? So exactly the same thing. Sum ifs the revenue if the day is this one. Order analysis. So I think some people found this one fairly tricky. So I just did extract numbers of this. And if it's an error, I'm going to say there's one of it. So if error, give me 1. And then I want to pull out the item names. So I'm going to say search for these things in here. And you're going to see we get a 3 there. So I'm just going to say is number. And then I can say filter the codes where that. So this should pull out everything. And then I basically want to look for in here where we have that exact combination. So I should do that over here somewhere. Example 5. We'll do this one with data table, so just pull that. I actually want to delete some of this junk out now. It just annoys me when it's not clean, so let's make sure these are copied as values, and then I don't think I need anything else. Yeah, we look good. Okay. So I'm going to say XLOOKUP those in here and return the amounts, and then I have the amounts, and I basically want to say that equals these amounts, and it's going to give me a true if on both of them if they're true. So I can wrap that in and a minus minus to get a number. So we see the sum here is 61. Actually did a minus, I just wanted minus minus, there we go. So I can say equals sum of this and do it as a data table. All right, now the next one, again, I think people might have struggled with this. You want to translate this into this code. So it's a bit like the last one. So let's just say example 6. Let's look up that in here. Give me these. And then I basically just want to say text split that on the comma. Let's do it downwards so it's a bit cleaner. So wherever there's a number, I want to pull that out. So let's say extract numbers. This extract numbers is just a regex command as well. So it's fairly simple underneath. I've just turned it into a lambda. And again, I'm just going to say if error, give me a 1. So that's all my quantities. And now I need to find the code for these. So I can just say search for, it's basically what we did earlier, these in this. And that's going to give me those. I want to say is number, and then do my whole filter thing again. So filter these codes for that. And then we get the codes. The problem is this is an array and it might expand if there's more items. So I want to make this an array formula, but I can't search like an array in an array. So I can wrap this whole thing in map to make that work. So I can say map this array, lambda a, and turn this into a, and then that will actually spill down. Then I can just say equals repeat this number of times, and then I just concat it all together, and that will give us all of the answers in a data table. And it's very frustrating because I work with this kind of stuff, quite a lot of work where I have to sort text out, and I should have really been able to get to here on the day. It's just that one mistake really cost me. Anyway, level 7, this one's fairly hard. You have a number of orders, and entrees take time to cook, the rest don't. So you have 20 slots of robots that can cook these meals, and this is kind of peak rush hour. So the tricky bit is you want to assign kind of a next robot that's available as soon as a meal needs cooking, and then determine the time it takes for the order to be fulfilled. That might not make sense, but let's build it and then hopefully it does. So first of all, let's do get this into 2's. So let's do my split text lambda into 2's. And then I basically want to look those up in the time. So X look up that in here. Give me how long it takes. And I want to get rid of the zeros here to make it a bit cleaner. So let's say let A be that. Filter A where A is not 0. We need another bracket on that. There we go. Let's just 2-row it quickly. And then let's build this out. So I'm just going to copy this data into another table, into another tab, because that should be all that I need. I don't need this stuff, and that should be it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to kind of unpivot this in Power Query. So let's do that. This column is a time, so let's turn that to time. And then I want to unpivot all of these out, so let's unpivot those and put that back in. Let's do that. And then I don't actually like working with tables very much, so I'm going to convert it back to a range, get rid of this, and that should be all we need. So basically now I have the order number, the time the order was placed, and how long each thing takes to cook. So it's just kind of a flattened version of this basically. And what I want to do is I want to assign robots to cook this stuff. So let's do a sequence of my 20 robots out here, and let's do, this is basically going to be the earliest time each one is available. So the first one's always going to be available there, so let's just get that out the way. So I want to determine which robot is assigned. So let's say who's assigned here, and the assigned robot is going to be whichever one is available earliest. So let's say equals minimum of this. However, they can't be earlier than this time when the order's placed. So it's actually going to be the max between the order placement time and that. So this is going to be start time of the order. Robot assigned is going to be XLOOKUP this time in here and give me the robot number that's available. And I want exact match or next smaller item, because the start time might not always correspond to these exactly if they're not going to be available for a while. Okay, and let's do end time, and that is going to be this plus 190 seconds, but we need to put that in a time formula, so it's actually 0 hours, 0 minutes, 190 seconds. So that gives us the end time. Now this is kind of our tracker of when the robots are available. So let's say if the robots, and let's lock that there, equals the assigned robot here, and give me the end time. Otherwise, give me the time from before. So now, let's just convert that to time. What we'll see is this robot's not going to be available until 12:09. This one's still available at 12:06. So now I should just be able to drag these down. So the next start time is going to be the minimum of these. So a robot's available at 12:06. The robot is, I need to actually lock this here. The robot, we're going to look up that minimum time here and pick the first available robot, and the end time is that. So we should just be able to do this. And then when we drag this down for the same length, I need it a bit longer than that. Then we are basically done. So all we need to do is do the end time minus the order time when the order was placed. Let's just convert that back into seconds. So let's times by 24 to get hours, by 60 to get minutes, and by 60 again to get seconds. And if we put that in the general form, we get the time it takes to finish everything. I do actually need to round it as well, because I think with these time formats you can get into some decimal points there. So let's round that. And then for this, all we need to do is max ifs the time where the order number is this. And that is it. So hopefully that made sense. Again, I'm so annoyed I just didn't do well in this, because it's so much easier now. I guess this one was complicated, but I learned this from a Clash on Titan video a while ago. So, I mean, you need to track these things across here. This is just a nice, clean way to do it, in my opinion. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.